This video was made possible by Wix. If you are ready to create a website, head over to wix.com/go/infographics to try out one of their premium plans right now. According to the Marshall Project, a nonprofit publication that covers the criminal justice system in the US, the budget per meal in jails and prisons in the United States is as little as 56 cents. An example of a meal from a state prison might be something like 2 to 3 ounces of meat or meat byproduct, half a cup of vegetables, 3/4 of a cup of a starch, and 3/4 of a cup of salad with dressing. That doesn't sound too bad, but then on such a low budget, the prison kitchen is never going to be serving up a Masterchef meal. However, there was a time when some items on the prison menu looked more like what you would see on a 5-star restaurant menu. And that's what we'll be looking at today. In this episode of the Infographics Show, why were lobsters once gruel and prison food? Changing weather conditions and crop shortages are just some of the reasons why buying a lobster roll at your local restaurant is more expensive than ever. The price of these marine crustaceans has nearly doubled due to bad weather plaguing New England in 2018, preventing fishermen from reaching the fishing grounds and bringing back fresh supplies of these tasty sea creatures. The supply has been frozen up a little bit, literally. Matt Jacobson, executive director of the Maine Lobster Marketing Collaborative, told Moneyish, "This winter and spring have been really cold and icy in the Northeast. You haven't seen as much supply because boats just haven't been able to go out. It's an outdoor sport. It's not a farm." Why is lobster such a sought-after dish in the first place? It's probably less to do with the taste and more to do with the lack of availability in general. The more rare something is, the higher the price and greater the appeal. Lobsters are rare because farming them is difficult. They grow slowly, eat a lot, are susceptible to disease, and their eggs are difficult to raise, so nearly all the lobsters that end up on our dinner plates are caught in the wild. And keeping lobsters alive when shipping is also challenging because they need to stay cool and moist as well as having enough oxygen to breathe and live. So it's almost like running an aquarium on the fishing boat, and this drives the price up further. What's even more interesting is that the high price tag could even have a bearing on how our taste buds react to food, in this case, tasting morsels of lobster meat. A study carried out by Cornell University found diners tend to rate the quality of their food higher if they pay more for it, and people who pay less for the same exact meal report feeling more guilty, bloated, and uncomfortable. The researchers offered 139 diners an all-you-can-eat buffet at a classy Italian restaurant for either $4 or $8. Though the diners ate the exact same food, those who paid $8 rated their meal on average 11% higher than those who paid $4. If the food is there, you're going to eat it, but the pricing very much affects how you're going to feel about your meal and how you will evaluate the restaurant. Ozgi Segirci, one of the researchers who conducted the study, told Newswise. Okay, so lobster may even taste better in 2018 because of the high price tag, but lobster in prisons? The night before convicted murderer Ronnie Lee Gardner was executed by firing squad in Utah, he ordered his final meal, as all death row prisoners are granted the request. He asked for lobster tail, steak, apple pie, and vanilla ice cream. Murderer Alan Lee Davis also ordered a lobster tail, a half pound of deep-fried shrimp, fried potatoes, fried clams, garlic bread, and root beer. Lobster is popular on death row, but do death row meals really count? A few millennia ago, lobsters weren't only a death row request, they were also on the main menu. And to understand why, we have to jump back in time to the 17th century. When colonists first arrived on the shores of New England, they faced a problem people would wish for today: an overabundance of lobsters, which were literally washing up on the beaches in drifts 2 feet tall. William Wood, a 17th century British historian who visited Newfoundland, was quoted as saying, "Their plenty makes them little esteemed and seldom eaten, except by the Indians, who get many of them every day for to bait their hooks withal, and to eat when they can get no bass." People were able to eat so much lobster, they got sick of it. David Foster Wallace was an American writer and university instructor who, in his essay titled "Consider the Lobster," he noted that the shellfish was eaten as common food during the colonial era in America. Because of its abundance, it was considered an insect of the sea, a dish for peasants that shouldn't be served on the tables of the wealthy and respectable. Instead, it became the staple diet for prisoners. Jailers were even forced to limit the amount of lobster they could feed their prisoners. The prisoners, it seemed, thought the constant lobster dinners constituted cruel and unusual punishment. As well as criminals, lobster meat was also fed to livestock. According to 19th century Kentucky politician and social observer John Rowan, the meat quickly became synonymous with lower classes of society. Lobster shells about a house are looked upon as signs of poverty and degradation, he said. This attitude towards lobsters lasted for years into the 1800s. During the Victorian era, it cost roughly 53 cents per pound for Boston baked beans, yet only 11 cents per pound for lobster. Lobster was still considered something you'd feed to your cat, not put on your own plate. By the 1940s, American customers could buy lobster meat in cans, just like Spam or tuna, but supplies eventually dwindled, with fewer lobsters available and fishermen having to head into deeper waters to bring back supplies. Canned lobsters ceased to be profitable, and live lobsters grew in status as they became more and more expensive. A meal that cost $4 in the 1870s cost $30 or more a century later. Lobsters used to be dirt cheap before skyrocketing in price, but lucky for us, Wix's website hosting is always cheap and affordable for any budget. You can get started with hundreds of templates for free and never pay a dime. But if you really want to kick it up a notch, Wix offers several monthly subscription plans to let you do things like host 30-minute videos, get unlimited bandwidth, and get VIP support from professional Wix staff. Check out the link in the description or go to wix.com/go/infographics and get started building the website of your dreams. What was once in plentiful supply and even the lowliest servants once refused, the swankiest restaurateur now offers with pride and often at the highest price on the menu. Is it really worth it? Do you enjoy eating lobster, or do you think the taste is overpriced and overrated? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other video, Gross Food in Other Countries. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time!